Hi guys, I'm Joanna and this is Next, a weekly vlog where I talk about singing and what's coming up next. Click subscribe to follow me here on my YouTube channel, or you can follow me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Joanna Moffitt, JohannaMoffitt soprano, or you can follow me on Twitter at Joanna Moffitt, same spelling. These past few weeks have been pretty busy, which is why we have a special Tuesday edition. First, I've started rehearsals for Candide, which is going really well. I was a little bit worried at first because there's a lot of dancing involved, and it's not that I'm not a dancer, I'm just not a dancer. I was freaking out a little bit at rehearsal because I thought, oh man, what if I can't do this? And fast forward to Saturday's rehearsal, and we started the piece. I mean, I had practiced it on my own at home, but we got into rehearsal and I knew almost all of the steps. I made some mistakes, but that's what rehearsal is for. So I was really excited. It turns out I can dance after all. Well, that's really great. I'm looking forward to rehearsal tonight. We're starting the last three big chorus pieces tonight, so I'm really excited about that. The students that I coached at the Lycée Français had their performances of Les Mis this past weekend. We went on Saturday. I went with my parents because they were in town, and it was really great. I was really especially proud of my student who is playing Jean Valjean. She did an excellent job negotiating the different registers and just singing splendidly in her high voice, which is something that we've been working on for a long time, and so I was really proud of her for that moment. I may or may not have cried a little bit. And on Sunday, for Mother's Day, my parents had come for this very reason. I sang the Mother's Day brunch at the Mid-America Club at the Aeon Center downtown. 3 hours of Italian arias and songs, and I sang a few other famous pieces here and there too. It was just really fun, kind of exhausting, but I got to work with one of my favorite pianists whose name is Sheldon Miller. He does a lot of coaching around the city and around the country and works with Chicago Opera Theater, and I just adore him, and it's always so easy when I work with him because he just knows, or he asks the right kind of questions because he's a really smart musician. So that was really fun, and we got to dress up really well and eat some delicious food, and I got to talk to a lot of the people who are members at the club. It's really fun when I get to do stuff like that. I love that kind of outreach where you're talking to people, you know, one-on-one. I'm hoping that I get hired for more gigs like that. I really enjoy being out there and talking to people. I hope it turns into a regular thing. Coming up next, of course, we have Candide starting in June. There is a special preview performance, so if you're interested in that, I can get you some cheaper tickets. So just let me know. It is a Friday afternoon, so you will have to be able to come in and take off of work. That's something to consider. At the end of June, I have my first audition for Lifeline Theater for their actual season of plays and for their children's shows. I'm pretty excited because the children's shows are all musicals, and they're always really fun and usually really touching. I have seen probably 3 or 4 of them now, and then probably 4 or 5 of their adult shows, and they're always excellently written. The thing that I love about Lifeline Theater is that it's a theater that takes works of great literature and creates their own shows from it, and they work with this team of fantastic artists, writers, directors, and musical directors, and composers that are just really smart and interesting, and I love that kind of creative team. So I'm really hoping that they hire me, if not for the children's shows, for one of the adult shows, because I could always use to do another straight play. So keep your fingers crossed. That's the end of June. I'll keep talking about it, I'm sure, as I'm preparing. These past 2 weeks, I asked people a lot to tell me how they show love in general, because what came out of that first question when I was talking about how do people date opera singers, or how do opera singers date, was that the way that we show support is a little bit different because our career takes so much work and so much support from our partner. So I just asked in general, you know, what do people do to support the people that they love, not necessarily even their partner. And I got some really fun responses. My favorite response so far was from one of my church choir members who is married to a musician, and she said to me that you have to really be patient about things like dates and birthdays and anniversaries and stuff like that. Similarly, along the line of my opera singer friend who responded last time, that you invite your friends to go do something and hope that your spouse can come along. Maybe they can't, and that's okay. Maybe they have a gig that night. But what it means is she gets to really stay in contact and in touch with her girlfriends. And she said that that has meant a lot to her because she didn't want to lose touch with them when she got married. She didn't want to be one of those people who loses their friends in a relationship. So she said that that was actually kind of a reward of dating a musician, and I thought that was really cool. So here we go. These are my Facebook responses. I thought I'd go through them with you. Thomas Sinclair said, spend time with them. For me, that is the number one thing. If I'm spending time with you, you know that you are a person who is important to me, because I don't have that much time. At the end of March, I went full-time at my day job, and now I'm in the middle of Candide. And this week, that means working at least 8 hours a day and then going to 4 or 5 hours of rehearsal at night. So if you're someone that I've taken extra time out of my schedule for, or someone that I have arranged something so that I can see you for at least a few minutes, that means that I really care about you. So that is, yes, Thomas, yes, agreed. My friend Phil Todd Walker said, let them be themselves. That is just beautiful. That is hard, isn't it? We want people to be what we want them to be sometimes, and that's hard. It's hard to say, yes, please, be yourself. Yes. Gabe said, motorboat and nachos. Love you, Gabe. Gabriel Paul said, let them cook for me. I don't know the story there, but I trust you, Gabriel Paul. My friend Stan said, you make time with them, you treat them, you converse with them, and listen to them. That comes back to that time thing. Spending time, and not just time, but quality time with someone. It's so important. Michael Orlinsky said, support them in their endeavors. This is something that's really important. I was thinking about, because as I've gotten busier and busier in my adult life, I have not been as good at making time to support my friends in their endeavors. And so I decided that I would try to make an effort to go to more shows and to really be there for my friends and see what they're up to and see their life. Because then what do you have at the end if you don't have your friends? Nathaniel Farid Maluli, Professor Maluli, said, listen to their heart. Help it beat strong. Make sure they are doing what Yah made for them. Make sure I am doing what Yah made for me. Celebrate the balance between the two, but mostly go out to eat healthy food and talk about nothing in particular. Those are my favorite kind of relationships, where you can just sit and chat, and it doesn't matter if it's about something in particular. I have a few friends that are really like that, and you know who you are. I love you. Kat Dallin, who is in Candide with me, said, little gestures, simple stuff like buying their favorite candy to bring home when you're grabbing yourself candy, learning what they need emotionally, and let them have space when they need it. She said her husband is an introvert, so this has been bloody vital to their cooperation. That's interesting. Really understanding the other person in the relationship and giving them what they need and not being selfish about it. I was having a conversation with someone about love. How often we use I love you as a way to keep people, as a selfish thing, rather than really making it what the other person needs. That understanding, that letting go of their space sometimes. So I applaud you, Kat. That's beautiful. My friend Jerome put up the 5 signs of love language. So if you want a connection to that, I'll give you that. My friend Ben put send a box of live wasps. Depends on what kind of wasps. Heather said bake them something. Sweet. And my friend Caitlin, who's also in Candide with me, said make a sacrifice, small or big, because you know it's incredibly important to your partner. You have to be unafraid, I guess, is the lesson there. That's next for this week. See you on Monday next.